Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make our 3D engine by ThinMatrix exportable. So first off, since I'm going to be doing this from scratch, just to give you a general idea, I'm just going to download this file. I'll show you where you can get it from if you don't already have it. Ignore all my other subscriptions. So basically, if you come to his videos and you scroll down to normal mapping, I believe, and you go to his description, you can get the full code download right here. So yeah, and then just want to go ahead and download this as a zip. And while that's downloading, I'll have a link in the description, but I highly recommend use IntelliJ. It's just an amazing IDE. It's 20 times better than Eclipse, and I used Eclipse for years, probably 2 years. And I would take this over Eclipse any day. But if you really want me to do a tutorial on Eclipse, I will. But yeah, just download this, and once it's done downloading, just set it up. And yeah, alright, so just drag that full code download to your desktop. And if you got IntelliJ like I do, just open it up. And also, we're going to be using Maven for this video. If you don't know what Maven is, you can just type in what is Maven on the internet and do a little research about it. But you don't really need to know what it is for this tutorial, because I'm going to be showing you guys what to do 100%. Okay, so once it starts up, you should see this screen, and you just want to press Create New Project. And that's loading. So you should see these options, and you just want to click on Maven. Make sure you have your SDK up here. Press Next. Call it whatever you want. For purposes of this, I'm going to call it just, that's what I use when I'm not doing a organizational project. And we'll just call it 3D Engine. Call it 3D Engine. And actually, we'll just put it right on the desktop. Oh, no, gotta make a folder, I forgot. Just call this 3D Engine. Okay. Okay. And now it should start up. Go ahead and drag this around. Yeah. Alright. Alright, so now that it starts up, you should be taken to this directory right here. And in the description, I'm going to have a few files. These two right here. We'll be using this a little bit later, but for now, you just want to go ahead and copy all the contents of this file. Control C, copy them. And you just want to come over here and just paste it right there. Also, you may see it says main class here, and this isn't the normal main game loop class, and that's because we're going to be changing that around a little bit. You'll see what we're going to do. But for now, you can just keep it as this, and I'll show you. We're going to be making a new class. Make sure everything's correct. This actually should be 1.7. I'll change that over here so I don't forget. Okay, and now it's just going to do all this stuff to figure out what's going on in the POM file. And if you know what a POM is, it's basically like a, how do I explain it? It's like a class, not a Java class, but it's like something that allows you to handle your dependencies in Java, I guess. Alright, so once you start up a new Maven project, whether it's in Eclipse or IntelliJ, you should have these two folders. If not, you probably should have a source and then you can just create main and then put a Java in here. This is basically like the source folder in Eclipse if you're not using Maven. So now what you're going to want to do is go all the way, where's our desktop? You can go all the way to your desktop. We'll go where we downloaded the code, go into source, you can select everything, copy it, Control C, and go into Java and just paste it. While that's doing that, we can go back over to our res folder, same thing, copy everything. It's still pasting. Okay, so now it's done, pasting everything. Okay, so do the same thing with resources. Alright, so now we have all of that. Okay, so now we're going to have to do a bit changing everything around a bit. And that means we're going to have to, well, first of all, we're going to create this new class so we have like a reference of what we're going to do. So again, this text file will be in the description. You just want to copy everything and then go over here, go into your toolbox or wherever, honestly, but I like to put it in my toolbox because it's really just a tool. And I'm going to create a new file handler class, go into the class and just paste it all. And it might give you some errors, just import everything. Okay. Import all this. Okay. Okay. Yes. You don't really need to know what's going on in this class, to be honest. All you need to know, this class is really just here to decide the locations of all our resources along with our shaders, and we're gonna have to do something with our shaders, you'll see in a second. Alright, so let me try to explain this class a little bit. So basically, this class, if you're launching from like your IDE, you'll be using this dev path, which is just source, main, and then resources, which is right here. It would be in this folder. All the resources will be in here, which they are. So if we were to launch this right now, we'd want to launch from this folder. But basically, when you're exporting it, it's not going to be in that folder. You're going to need to get the location of the current jar file when it's exported. Then you want to get the path, and then you're getting the parent. So what that's saying is it's getting the file that the jar file is in. And then to get all these textures, excuse me, you're going to want to, it first exports all the files from inside the jar file, and it basically extracts them to the same folder that the jar file is in so that they can be read from. If that doesn't make sense, it'll make more sense once we actually get into it. So basically now what we're going to have to do is a bit of testing because there's a lot of files that have to be changed around a bit. So open everything up, and first of all we're just going to want to take all our shaders, every single one of them, and move them to our resources folder. Okay, two more down here. I think that's all of them. Yeah, so then you just want to drag them down here. Okay, it's going to load. Alright, so now we actually have a bit of a difference here. Inside our file handler, it's looking for .shader files when it should be looking for text files. That could give us a problem. Okay, so that should be good now. I need to change this in here so I make sure you guys get that, just in case you forget. You won't have to remember now. That was just for a bit of cleaning up, but it doesn't really matter. You guys can keep it as shaders if you want, but then you're going to have to rename all the extensions of these shader files, but text should be fine. Okay, so now we're going to want to create a new file here, and let's call it main. And basically we're creating an entirely new launcher class. And what we're going to want in this class is we're going to want to check if actually, first of all, we're going to want to create an instance of our file handler class here for easy access. We don't want to initialize it yet though. First we want to check if the args at 0 are equal, doesn't matter the case, to dev. Basically we're saying if we're launching from the IDE, we should add this argument so that we know that we're launching from the IDE. And then we just want to say file handler equals a new file handler, and we just want to say false because that is our release, and since we want to launch from the IDE, it's not our release. And then we're going to create that method later on. And I'm going to say else if arg0 dot equals copy. This is basically going to be us copying over all the file resources from the jar file outside to the folder that it's currently in. Still not a release. And then we're just going to load from jar. And I'm going to say if args at 1 equals ignore case launch, or whatever you want there, run, you could have it probably, it's another one. We actually want to create a new thread. You know what a thread is? It's basically how you can run things asynchronized, so you can run multiple things at the same time without having to wait for the first process to finish. So now when this is ran, we want to call this class again, and we're going to create, basically we're going to launch the entire thing again. Hold on. Okay, so basically what we're doing here is if somebody wants to copy it and then launch it for like a first time run, they're able to do that. So then we just want to call launch, and that should launch it. Okay, and now instead here, we actually want to create that launch argument. Launch, and basically this is what's being called on the new thread right here. What we want to do in the new thread, say file handler equals a new file handler, and we actually want to call it true because this actually is a release because we're launching it. And then we just, of course, want to call main game loop .run, which we're actually going to create now. So go into our main game loop, and we're pretty much just going to want to go down here for now make a public static void run, and for the most part, we're going to want to copy everything over, because this isn't going to be our main launcher class anymore. So copy everything over, Control C, actually go ahead and delete this now, and just paste it here. This will probably, okay, so now, you just want to type file handler dot load natives, because we want to load these up right from the start. And this is going to throw an error, so we actually just want to throw throws. It's a URI syntax exception, I think. Yep. Okay, so now back in here, this is working, like it's actually knowing what we're talking about now, but we just want to throw the exception, and then that one has to just be surrounded because it's in a new thread. Okay. And here, we'll actually just call, since we don't want to have to change anything, we'll just call the regular dev. So if the args are 0, we'll just call dev, and then, yeah, so we'll just launch if we don't supply any arguments. Okay, so now we want to actually start changing up every single one of these classes so it knows where the resources are. And that's quite a long process, but we'll start off with everything in here. Actually, no, we'll start off with our loader. Okay, so where it says this, where it says this, we just want to go ahead, say new file input stream, and we just want to call main.file handler, import it, .get texture, and then we just want to call file name. So that should be getting the texture, and just to make sure, we're going to do the same thing here, but instead of file name, we want to call this. Okay, so that loader class, wait, texture. Okay, so this class should be done. So the next class we're going to do is object file loader, and basically we just want to delete that and go main.file handler .get model and object file name. And now that should be getting that. Let me see, that should be all, yeah. And now we have to go in and change all the shaders. We'll start off with our static shader. And basically what you want to do is type main dot file handler dot get shader, and then you just want to go like this, type in the shader's name, and we're going to want to do this for pretty much every single one of where we need the shader. And this is fragment shader. Okay, and now we're going to go to our terrain shader, do the same thing. It's terrain vertex shader. This one's fragment, terrain fragment shader. Okay, we'll go skybox shader, which is skybox vertex shader, and skybox fragment shader. Okay, we'll go water shader, and this is water vertex, and water fragments, I think. Yep. Okay, and now I'll just start going from bottom to top. This one is GUI vertex shader, and oh my god. Okay. GUI fragment shader. And then we're gonna wanna, oh, I forgot, we're gonna wanna have to go do the same thing we did in the object loader here, which is main dot file handler dot get model, and I'm gonna go object file name. Same thing we did in the other one. Okay, so where were we? We just did GUI. I'm gonna go normal map shader. Okay, paste it there. Normal map v shader. Do that. Go ahead and say normal. Fragment map f shader. No, wait. What did I just do? Okay. So it's normal map v shader and normal map f shader. Okay, let's move on. Object loader terrain. Oh, we have to change the terrain too before I forget. There's something in here, right here. So this is just a regular old image, so we could just go main dot get dot file handler dot get image handler dot get texture. I just want to say height map. Actually, let me check something real quick. Ooh. Okay, so this actually returns a .png, so I'm gonna want to start removing these. We could go back in here, remove this. Oh, I forgot to do this actually. Just want to go main dot file handler dot get model file name. Ooh, man. Okay. We want to go back into our loader, and we want to just remove this. We want to go remove this, and now we want to go inside our normal map shader. No, not that. Normal map object loader. Remove this. And now I think we're back on track. So we've done this. We've done this. We've done this. Actually, I think we're done. So now, not forgetting anything, I can try and run the main.main class. Hopefully this will work. I may have forgotten something. Very possible. And we crashed. Oh, of course, we have to build with Maven. So we just want to go up here and press Maven, and you just want to run package. That's going to download all our natives. Hopefully. So it's running still. It's getting all our natives. Building the jar. Okay. And now if we run our main.main, hopefully. Okay, it crashed. And okay, so we forgot to take off this here. If we run again, hopefully, possible it's gonna crash again. I might have forgotten something. Okay, and we got it sorted out. So now I'm gonna show you how to export it to a runnable jar. Actually, if you just run this package, if you created the new one like I just told you to, wherever it just went, called it. This is the one we just created. You can rename it to build jar, and if you run it like we did, you should get. Wait, no, that had a problem in it. So we'll run it again. So once this is finished, we'll have a big jar that have all of our stuff inside of it. Okay, it's finishing up. Okay, so now it's done. So if we copy this, paste it, alright, so it won't do that, but we can just get it because this is our project root, and this is our jar. We just copy this over to the desktop, and if you go into terminal, or if you're in command prompt on Windows, you want to change to wherever your jar is located. Whoops, so we're going to go change drive, and then you just want to write java-jar 3d, and then you want to type copy, and it's going to go ahead, run through, and copy all our required files. Exception. What is that? Okay, so I don't think that matters actually. So if we run launch, hopefully, huh. Alright, so if we check out, okay, for some reason our shaders aren't getting copied over. So I'll have a look in our file handler. I think I might know why they're not getting copied over. Okay, that's why. We forgot to change that there. So now we're gonna have to build again. And once it's finished, actually we should finish or fix our problem here. And just build again because I don't want to see that error. I just want to have that nice and clean. So now once it's finished building, go ahead and clear that. And just delete. Create a new folder, call it build. And now it's done, so we'll copy it over again. But this time we'll put it in here so we can see all our files. And then we'll change drive to our build, so we're inside the folder. And then we'll go ahead and run our copy again. As you can see, we fixed that one error. And our shaders are in here now, that's a good sign. And now if we run launch, hopefully, yep, so there you see, fully working jar. And if you want to make it so your friends can easily just launch their jar, I'll leave a bat file in the description. But if you're also, we added a nice function that allows us just to copy and then build. So if we go copy and then launch, it's gonna do all our stuff and then it's just gonna launch. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, I should mention, if you don't really feel like doing this, on my GitHub page, if you just type in Mr. Maniac, 2 C's, you can find me probably like that, and then just go to my profile. And then I have 3D Engine here, and this basically has what we just did, and you can just read and go through. But yeah, this is updated for episode 37 compared to episode 33. So if you feel, but you could always just implement it into your own code. That's pretty much why I made this video, so you could implement it into your own code. So just to recap, we made a new class. We started using Maven, and this class makes us able to extract our resources outside of the jar, which Maven builds as a fat jar. And a fat jar is basically where all the resources are packed into the jar. And then we're able to extract the resources with this class. And then that allows us to read those resources from file, or we have an option to read those resources normally. So, and then we made a new class that allows us to choose whether we're developing in the IDE or we are exporting for our friends or whatever. And yeah, basically that's it. Nice big fat jar that allows us to, we can just give it over to our friends and we can just play together. Also, I should mention, I probably will be doing a multiplayer tutorial soon, because I finished writing a socket library I needed to write. But if you guys want to see that video, like this video. But yeah, thank you for watching.